Travel issues are certainly front and center as economies reopen. The airline industry may be getting the boost. According to Travelport, flight bookings to and within the United States is back to 70% of its pre-pandemic levels, which got us asking, where is everyone heading to? So we took a look, and the data from Travelport indicates that, as expected, the Empire City, New York, got the lion's share of tourists. So for this week's Now Boarding, Bloomberg Pursuits editor Chris Rouser shares some more of the knowledge that we figured out. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. I mentioned New York is top of the list for a lot of the places that foreign tourists want to visit, but I have to admit, I haven't seen that many foreign tourists in the city yet.
Well, you got to give it a little bit of time. But I will say, if you walk around Times Square, it feels like old times. There's a lot of people there, and people are there to see Broadway, and they're there to see the New York sights.
Where are the travelers coming from?
A lot of the people who are coming are British. There must be something where people have just been dying to come to the U.S. or come back home to the U.S. without the restrictions and having to quarantine. And so that's the bulk of the travelers, especially coming to New York City.
You mentioned that people are definitely heading to Times Square. But I think about what's been happening in Midtown, which is basically a ghost town because so many office workers are still working from home. There are a lot of developers that have really tried to spruce up their offerings to make it more enticing to visitors, local visitors right now, but eventually foreign tourists. So are we going to see some of those places really pick up in terms of popularity?
Yeah, a perfect example of what you're talking about is Rockefeller Center, which is like New York's signature Midtown development, those huge Art Deco skyscrapers. And what they've been doing over the past 2 years is refurbishing the stuff that they have there now, so fixing up the ice skating rink and the retail that's there, and also the underground subway areas. And then they've attracted a bunch of very cool downtown and Brooklyn restaurants to open up in Rockefeller Center, which is, even in a good time, kind of a place that you normally think of as being quiet at night, or sort of being a place that you go to see the Christmas tree maybe. And I expect you'll see people thinking about a place like Rockefeller Center in Midtown in a way that they didn't used to. And There's also Hudson Yards on the west side and the Manhattan West Development Project, which are pretty out of the way, but they also have a lot of really cool restaurants and hotels opening.
Bloomberg Pursuits editor Chris Rouser giving us the lowdown on where people are headed for their visits. Thanks for watching Bloomberg Quicktake Now. Subscribe to our channel to see the biggest stories the moment they happen from around the world, and tune in to our 24/7 live stream for global news coverage, interviews, deep dives, shows, and documentaries on the stories you care about.